Welcome to the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube. This is our Awakening Together weekly gathering. Each and every week we have a different minister who speaks. If you'd like to attend our services live, please visit our website awakening-together.org. Click on Online Sanctuary on the main menu. Then, How to Enter the Sanctuary. Our services are held Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary.
Good morning, everybody. Greetings from Naples, Florida. And I want to greet everyone that's coming from wherever you are to celebrate another day, Christmas. Welcome, everyone. I am very grateful to be here, to throw my hat in the ring again. I've been missing in action. I was ill for a while. And I missed 2 rotations, I think, in my service to Awakening Together. It's just grateful. I'm very grateful to be here. I want to welcome everyone from wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in, to share in this common purpose, and I'm going to read it. Our purpose: we are an assembly of equals, joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self, with an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols. We seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. You know, today's homily, I picked core value number 1 today, you know, and it reads, we trust everyone is led by unique inner guidance to one experience called awakening, which is realized of one true self, the realization of one true self. We live this value by supporting one another on different paths of awakening. Thank you, Shawna. Father, today you have all of me to do what you wish, so that I might be a channel of your peace and love. May we choose the words, the thoughts, and the feelings to help move us to higher frequencies, so we may join Mother Earth in this transition from non-polarity, the non-dualistic approach. Help us see that our journey becomes to a journeyless journey to awaken to the truth of who we are. One being, one spirit, acknowledging each other in this space-time continuum with that common thread of smiling, loving, peace, union, joining, and allowing. Thank you. Amen. You know, before I turn the reading over, you know, I had to Shawna. You know, I started reading Michael Langford's Eternal Bliss again, and I took my time with it. And I did read each chapter 3 times. before going on to the next. And I sat in his existence, teaching what wanted to be said, what needed to be heard, you know, and you know, to understand that space, you know, the space that I had to learn through suffering. You know, me being a drug addict and an alcoholic and such an extremist, and taking everything to its limits. And to see that part of me in that suffering, what suffering had taught me was to see what didn't suffer. You know, what was that didn't suffer? And that space, you know, that space that's, I don't know, you know if you have it, you know if it's in your, you know if you're aware of that space that, you know, it's not a concept and it's not an idea. It's, I earned it. And I know it exists. And however you get it, you know, it's available. I only know the extreme path, and that's what I know. And so Shawna is going to take us through a stretching of the accordion of what we know to what we don't know and what we're open to. And I'm gonna give it to you, Shawna. Thank you for doing this.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you, Reverend Billy, for this opportunity to read Michael Langford again. So I'm reading from The Direct Means to Eternal Bliss, The Infinite Space Method, Chapter 11. There's actually a few different editions, and mine does not have numbered sentences. So I will just read until you tell me not to, Billy. The Infinite Space Method. When people practice the awareness, watching awareness method, they often tend to have the perception that awareness is located in their head. Your awareness is not in your head. Your awareness is infinite. The infinite space method helps to remove the perception that awareness is something in your head. The infinite space method helps to provide a sense of the limitless nature of space. The infinite space method is a secondary, not a primary method. Therefore, it is to be practiced, not to be practiced more than once a week. You can practice the infinite space method in any position. However, for the first time, try practicing laying down in your bed with the lights off. You may record the instructions for your personal use. Practice instructions. Shut your eyes. Imagine you are traveling into outer space in one direction in a straight line. Imagine you have traveled 800 trillion miles into outer space. Continue in the same direction along the same line and travel another 800 trillion miles further into outer space. Now imagine that you are traveling at the speed of 100,000 miles per second and that you have traveled for 800 trillion years at that speed in the same direction along the same line. Now travel for another 800 trillion years in the same direction at the same rate of 100,000 miles per second. No matter how fast you travel, and no matter how long you travel, you have not come any closer to infinite space, because infinite space never ends. Now look forward in the same direction and see infinite space never ends. Now look forward in the same direction and see space never ends. Now look forward in the same direction and see space goes on forever and ever. See that even if you travel in the same direction for all eternity, you will never come to the end because space never ends. Look in the same direction and see infinite space. Look in the same direction and see space goes on forever and there is no end. Realize space is never ending in all directions. That infinite space is your awareness. That infinite space is infinite love. That infinite space is eternal life. See the infinite freedom of infinite space. See, infinite space is open to allowing everything. Whatever wall or boundary you imagine, there's infinite space on the other side of that boundary. If you imagine a circle, there is always a larger circle, and there's always infinite space on the outside of the circle. Now come back to Earth. Imagine you're sitting outdoors on a chair. There is space in the atoms of your body. There is space between the atoms of your body. There is space in the molecules of your body. Space is between the molecules of your body. There is space in the cells of your body. There is space between the cells of your body. Your body is space. Space in and between the atoms, molecules, and cells of your body is touching the space in the atmosphere. Space in the atmosphere is touching outer space. The imagined boundaries are also space. The Earth and everything on Earth is space. All the planets and stars in the universe are space. There is only one space. Space is the source of life. Space is alive. One infinite space. One infinite love. You are that infinite love. One eternal, infinite space, awareness, love, bliss. You are that one eternal, infinite space, awareness, love, bliss. There is only that one. All boundaries are imagined. There are no real boundaries. In reality, there is only the infinite freedom of infinite space. From time to time in your daily life, focus on the space instead of on the objects. In space inside the objects, space outside the objects, and space in the imagined boundary. Never again imagine that space is just nothing. Space is that which is truly valuable. Space is eternal life awareness. Space is infinite love. One being, one space, one infinite love. Focusing attention on space is focusing attention on infinite freedom. Focusing attention on space is focusing attention on infinite love. Your awareness is space. All limits are imagined. all limits are a product of delusion. All limits are a type of dream. It is possible to wake up. You can wake up to the reality of infinite, eternal space, awareness, love, bliss. You can wake up to perfect peace. You can wake up and discover you have always been eternal life, love, awareness, joy. You can wake up and discover you will always be eternal love, life, awareness, joy. Because of the long habit of imagining you are a thinker living in a body, in a world, waking up requires spending much time in the direct spiritual practice. You are not a thinker living in a world. You are infinite, eternal space, awareness, love, and joy. Thank you.
Thank you, Shawna. That was well done. You know, that your vibration was really felt. And, you know, this whole Christmas time, you know, I mean, it's a celebration and the recognition of, you know, Jesus, the Son of God, Jesus, the prophet, the seventh dimensional being, whatever. Whatever. It's just recognized all over the world. And you know what? In what you just read today, you know, just now, you know, that what has been available to me on this journey, this journeyless journey, you know, is like reversing the roles of the manger. Like I'm in the manger and I have to wake up, you know, and they like, I mean, I'm just spinning it around, you know, and, and all this came to be, this whole Christmas thing came to be some 1,200 years ago. And, you know, I think it was St. Francis of Assisi, and who was, I think he was, you know, it was the recognition. Easter was the most celebrated holiday of, you know, we were, you know, celebrating the crucifixion and resurrection, and you know, and I got to know that dualistic part of my life as well, you know, and but you know, in this, you know, and I guess, and he turned it around by, you know, that God loved us, forgave us, and you know, it should be right now. We shouldn't have to wait for Easter. And they started decorating the trees, and you know, they ended their fast. They used to fast all the time, and and you know, he was the eccentric that he was. He decorated the trees of light so they could be in their true nature as light. And we do that today, you know. And but this whole thing of turning it around and you know, being me waking up, you know, me being in the manger of asleep, you know, to find that, to rely totally on that inner guidance. You know, what a gift that's been given to us to really, you know, and it came through the suffering. For me, it came through the crucifixion. I carried my own cross, you know, and I got to know I carried every wrong wrong and wrong, and I took wrong all the way till it started to become right. I took it to its end, you know, and I took all the rights and the rights and all the rights, and I shoved them down everyone's throats, and they became wrong when I took them all the way to the end and the extremes. And I got to see circles. I got to acknowledge how, you know, no one was ahead of anyone. No one was first. No one was second. It was circles, you know, and the circles in the state and that space, that space that, you know, that is so available, and I wanted Shawna to read it, you know, to get us prepped for that, most of us have gone back to, having Christmases with our families and taking on a familiar identity, you know, and sliding back in. You know, in the AA rooms, the newcomers always need a chaperone to go back into that because it's too much to go back into that identity of what you were when you're in the midst of change, you know. But in that changeless reality that is so available with that exercise, and I guess it's not supposed to be done every day, but it's like once a month to stretch, to find that, you know, that stretch, that accordion, you know, that the wrinkles in the fan, you know, to stretch it out, to find that, you know, to, no matter what egoic poison or egoic situation that once I drop it into that vastness, it's like putting salt in the ocean. You know, it's just going, you know, the vastness of space just dilutes it, dissipates all meaning, all drama charges, all, you know, and me being the drama queen that I've been my whole life, you know, and that to be a detriment, which, you know, in this full circle is coming to what I can teach, you know, because teaching to know is so important here, you know, this space that Michael Langford talks about, Mooji talks about it, everyone talks about it, and you know, this poem that I picked out, you know, the darkest evening of the year, there was this week, you know, December 21st, and it's the you know, stopping by the woods on a snowy evening. But before I get into that, a dream got busted during this week for me, you know, during the past few months. You know, I moved to Florida. I uprooted from Massachusetts, and it was, you know, and you know, and it's easy to you know, I left an identity. And I did not reinvent myself into the same identity when I got here. And, but you know what I did get to see, you know, I mean, you know, I had a few traumas in my childhood, and one was my sister getting hit by a truck, and, I took a lot of that responsibility. I don't even want to get into that, but this other one that I never really talked about was, you know, I was still a child playing with my toys outside, and this is in the 50s where, anything different, anything different, you were going to get challenged. And, and me being a Greek Orthodox faith and having different Good Fridays and Easters and stuff was a problem in my neighborhood. And, at 11, 10, 8, 9, 11, I don't know how old I was when, I was immersed in the wonderment of my toys, and I got ambushed by a herd mentality of kids. And I got pummeled. And I'm not here for victimization. This was a trauma that I always measured myself to. Everything changed for me after that, and I never wanted that to happen again. I mean, I was being tossed around, and there were older kids there, and 12, 13, and I don't know if I was 8 or 9 or whatever, but through contemplation and root cause inquiry and everything, I got to see that I lived my life as everyone in that dream, everyone in that incident. I became, and I measured myself as I went up the scale of strength and power and all that, and on the flip side, that was the main message, that I became everyone in that dream. The Tao had brought that about, but on the flip side, I was and trying to get a thought, but that my mind has do I still have to be comfortable to trust? Am I seeking comfort to trust? It's like that first thought. Am I still changing that first thought? Like I came down here and it was very unfamiliar, and going into a strange place, and yeah, did I acknowledge that past? Yeah, I did acknowledge that past, but I gave it its day in court. And I played every one of those people. I was every one of those characters in that horrible afternoon, which ended up being a great afternoon. As time went on. But is that first thought for entertainment purposes only today? That is just the first thought that when I'm trusting, am I feeling the safety, or am I walking in that surety? I'm in unknown territory. Is the ego still trying to keep me safe? And I got to see that. I got to let that go too. I got that because this reading that Shawna was reading today, to stand in that space, that space of infinite awareness, love, bliss. That space it's not a perception. It's not something to perceive, and and I'm not trying to not perceive. It just is, and as the I thought comes up inside me, and is it a personal I thought, or is it an I thought that's in total congruency, with that which we can't speak of, because it's when knowing comes to you without knowing, and the trust is there. So this little poem that I had to memorize in high school, and I was a freshman in 1963, and that was the year Robert Frost had passed, stopping by the woods on a snowy evening. And let me see if I can share the screen and put it up. I hope I can do that. This poem, whose woods they are, I think I know. I'm going to read the poem. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. This is like a moment for me. This is like every moment that goes on in my head. Okay, this poem. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bell a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So there is the surface message, and it's a great scene, of Robert Frost creating. I mean, where's this, is he, the surface message is that he's come across some land in the dark night, on a horse and buggy, and he's got some guilt if he's trespassing or not, and he gets questioned by his horse is acting like his ego, and is it his inner guide or is it his ego, and but if you go deeper, I mean, that's the surface message and then the list comes out at the end, and I have promises to keep. All of a sudden I got to get going. I got to get home. What am I doing here? Taking time to be with myself. And that's the surface message, but what's the inner message that happens to me in every moment here, like whose woods these are, whose woods these are. Man, there is a spherical vortex here, like whose woods these are. And then all of a sudden, I think I know, comes in. And it has that ring like our Father who art in heaven. It has that ring of like, I'm here. I'm in that space. Whose woods these are? And guess who's coming with me? I think I know. And one thought's going to give me another thought. This house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. You know, it's like, whose thoughts are these? I think I know. You know, well, let's go a little further. You know, we see that we're not going to be stopping our thoughts here. And we're going to be aware that we're not going to be stopping our thoughts here. To watch his woods fill up with snow. You know, and the guidance of the meaning here, the guidance of the reading, you know, there's this infinite space, togetherness, you know, where do you, this is where you come from is more important than where you're going. And he's in that tug of war right now, you know, and he's in that tug of war of where is his consciousness going to be, where's his consciousness going to rest on, the availability of that egoic, I'm going to call it poison, but the egoic situation, you know, can I be in that subject thinking mind at least? Or that, am I still in that object thinking mind that, my, like the next line goes, my little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, and the drama comes in between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year, my little horse must think it queer. Now I'm coming outside myself, but I'm still in myself. My little horse must think it queer. Are you kidding me? We never stop here. There's nothing around. What are you stopping here for? What are you doing that for? Another one, like the 4 things I got to think about every day when I leave the house: my wallet, my keys, my phone, and all of a sudden my new headset. Okay. And man, have I lost a lot of headsets recently. Because I'm used to having the 3, and now I've got 4, and I'm not used to 4. I'm a tripod guy. Okay. And like my wallet. Who stole my wallet? And then I go to my wallet's missing. And I see that I'm living in all these multilinear levels. And I finally get to the place where what's going on here? And I'm in this forgetful. I'm forgetting a lot of things, and I've come to know through my readings that and just stillness that I'm vacillating between levels of consciousness and dimensions. But getting back to my little horse must think it queer. He's to stop without a farmhouse near. Do I get to be safe? Can I be safe here? Am I going to get in trouble? Am I going to do right and wrong? Am I going to play the right and wrong? Am I still in polarity between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year? all the dead things between the woods and frozen lake. I'm right in the middle, dead center. No way out. The darkest evening of the year. The horse comes back as he's vacillating, and as the pen starts writing. The rest starts writing himself now. The pen is writing by itself. He gives his harness bell a shake. Are you kidding me? Are you listening to me? To ask if there is some mistake. Are you nuts? And he reminds us now in this next line that subject awareness, that subject thinking, that subject identity awareness, the absolute, that space that Shawna was reading, and that space that's around all things. The only other sounds has got an apostrophe S on it, has ownership to it. The only other sounds, the sweep of easy wind and downy flake, experiencing the moment, the rosy cheekness. It's not a knife cutting cold. The easy wind and downy flake. You know, you can feel the snowflakes acting like one big eyelash, cleaning his face in tears of the moment, you know, and you know, and he holds on to that moment. And that one moment of my life, what I go through in this odyssey of egoic polarity that I go through, okay, and you know, when the personal I has gotten a hold of the story, you know, and he goes, how's it go? It goes, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, and he's in that. He's there. He's not going to waver. He's in the loving all method now. No, the woods are lovely, dark and deep. He has transcended the you know, in a not knowing, in a not in just a knowingness that came without knowing. And had no previous history of childhood trauma or anything. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. But I have promises to keep. And I was wondering, you know, like, all right, you know, like, all right, he's coming out of it. We can go that route with this too. You know, he's coming out of it. But promises is plural here. And it's, you know, on the linear stage, okay, I get that message. Okay, the list is out, and I got a lot of people to see before I can take my shoes off and watch my feet swell. You know, but there's a deeper message here that but I have promises to keep, and the promises are to myself on all these split version, linear, multidimensional levels that I experience life in, but the brain can only focus on one at a time. But, you know, this is where I lose my wallet. I'm in between all these little spaces, okay? Because I can't see them all at the same time. Because the mind can't do that. It can only focus in on one. But I am experiencing all of that. And that's that's universal, that's congruent with the absolute. And miles to go before I sleep. And the miles that I came from, the training, the class, the daily, the momentary classrooms that I've existed in, the training wheels to actually stay steadfast. The only other sounds of sweet, easy wind and downy flake, you know? I am that I am, you know? I am that I am. And he says it again, so for a vibrational purpose, as, like, where did he wrote this on the desk, but did he actually experience it? Or did he imagine it? Where was he writing this from? Where's he coming from? And he's coming from all three, but he's focusing, whatever one he was focusing on, the brain can only do one. And he did that in this poem. Anyway, my moments are like this poem. And, I have moments that are just like this tug of war game. And there's a surrender, but there's not even a surrender anymore. There's just is. There's just an is. And, I did have something else I wanted to read, but it's going to be too much. So, I'm going to let go of the mic. And special song to me. My uncle used to sing that in the choir. I sang in the choir for about 17 years. And, yeah, man. It's great to be alive. It's great to know that I have an inner guidance and an inner conversation going on with self and my snowy evening. And it encompasses every moment. And I want to thank you guys for just being a part of that with me. And I hope it meant something to you. Thanks, guys.
You've been watching our online gathering. It happens weekly on Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. To join us live in the sanctuary, visit our website, awakening-together.org. You'll want to click on Online Sanctuary in the main menu, and then in the drop-down menu, look for How to Enter the Sanctuary. Right there at the top of the page is a clickable link. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary and join with you in fellowship. Thank you again for watching. Also, please know that if you'd like to stay connected via the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube, you can subscribe and hit the bell for more notifications. We hope to see you in the sanctuary.